Okay, everybody, welcome to the actual first booking of Southern Lights Wrestling, my local to global save here on TEW 2020. The first show was just an overview of the roster and my plans, but just in case you missed that, the basic idea is, of course, with our local to global, is we're starting a company that's zeros in everything and starting from scratch, and as an extra bonus, I'm starting from the basically, according to the game itself, the worst place to actually start, which is Tasmania, which makes sense because it's an island of an island. I guess like the actual worst place would be like somewhere in the middle of like the Pacific Islands, but I guess it's like the worst realistic region. Regardless, the plan here, at least in the early going, is basically each edition, like each video I put up is going to be basically a month of the save. So it's going to be, because basically how I'm booking this is like a weekly show at some like random flea market or whatever they call flea markets in Tasmania, or like outdoor show and then basically like in the parking lot somewhere. And then as we go up, up farther, we might actually go to monthly shows and then go from there eventually as the company grows and it ebbs and flows. Of course, if it turns out this loses me a bunch of money, I might actually like go back to like shows being bi-weekly or even monthly. It just depends on how it goes. Of course, TW's 2020 is a new game, and so the finance and everything else is a little different. For Hilarious, at least for now, we're going to start with the monthly saves. So you won't see my booking, but you will see the results of the booking. So here we are. The first show, SL Southern Lights Wrestling, Saturday Wrestling, live from a random place in Hobart, Tasmania. So let's get going with the show. So this is our opening, where we have Merv Matra, who is our announcer, coming out and basically, going to the ring, welcoming fans to the show. When Morton Bull Pyle comes out, who has the gimmick of an ultimate gecko, which I guess is just sort of like a weird, like, flamboyant, cocky, arrogant heel. Basically, he comes out like complains that he's not in the main event because he's the star of Australian wrestling. He used to be on TV, so why isn't he in the main event of the show? So here we go. And so Winter Pyle has viewed his ultimate gecko gimmick, got an initial rating of great, and the rating itself, which was a 21, which has to be considered pretty good for a zero show. If we look at there, so no specific pros and cons, but it did get a great, so that's good. So we go on to the next thing, which is our actual opening match, which is Hang 10 Lucas Pope and Jesse Tasman defeating Hank Greer and Jonathan Wesker in 9:33 when Hang 10 Lucas Pope defeated Hank Greer with a spinning angled slam. If we look at things, basically everybody got good things for their gimmicks. So Hang 10 and Jesse Tasman both got servitude gimmicks. Hang 10 was very good. Jesse Tasman was great. Hank Greer got his next generation gimmick. It got an initial rating of great, and Jonathan Wesker had to be his Narcissus gimmick. It got an initial rating of great. And the match itself got a 24. And looking in the ring, Hang 10 Lucas Pope got a 39 because he actually is a pretty good worker. Tasman got a 26. Wesker is real new, and if you look at his render here, he's a big muscly boy, so he got a 14. Hank Greer got a 24. So if we actually look at the gimmick changes, so Lucas Pope is getting a large boost to microphone skill during his angles. Hank Greer got nothing different. Jesse Tasman didn't get anything different. And Wesker's Narcissus gimmick is a swagger gimmick, and he may receive a bonus if he's booked to look dominant. So that's something to look forward to. And then basically for Celebrate with the Fans got a 28. And yeah, there you go. They, just sort of, pose and slap hands with the fans as they leave. And I didn't mention this, but we got 26 people. I also made the tickets very cheap, so that probably has a decent, thing to do with it. Next up, we've got Rob Edwards, who is debuting his MMA douche gimmick. It got an initial rating of 4, versus the Lone Rider, who debuted his Outlaw Cowboy gimmick. It got an initial rating of great. This got a 27. Lone Rider got a 30. Rob Edwards got a 36. So again, if we look at the gimmick changes, so basically his badass MMA douche gimmick will be penalized for taking part in comedy bouts, which makes sense. So we go on. So basically, this is just a dominant victory for Edwards. He basically, Ryder tries to brawl, but Edwards takes him down to the mat, and after a while locks in a submission win. And then after the match, basically Edwards makes fun of wrestling, says he competed in real sports like MMA, and it's an insult to have to like fight some cowboy when he should be fighting actual athletes. Of course the crowd boos because they're at a wrestling show, so they like wrestling, as you'd expect. And this got a 29. And yeah, Rob Edwards worked the crowd well, using the freedom to improvise to his advantage. So there you go for that. Then we got to the next match, which is Mortal Pile defeating Francis Burke in 8:28 with a pile driver. Ha ha ha. This got a 22. Actually, I'm wondering why this didn't do so well. Okay, so lack of associated storyline. Okay, there we go. And yeah, so Francis Burke got a wrestler's versus gimmick, and it may receive a bonus when booked to look dominant. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen a bunch. Then we have our next, I don't want to say big angle, but basically Siri and her actual, let me see if it pops it up here. No, it doesn't. Okay. If you don't know, because you probably don't, because she's an unemployed random non-wrestler woman in Australia, her original name was like Siri, like, and I'm saying this because I'm half Polish, some weird long Polish or Eastern European name. Of course, in the grand tradition of wrestling, we shortened that to Siri D, and her like background in the game is basically like she was a reality star, like a C-tier reality star, and like so she comes out and like she complains about how she doesn't even it's a shocker that she doesn't even have her own locker room. She has to like she had to like do her own hair and makeup, and she's a star, damn it, but she's here in Southern Lights Wrestling to find a new meal ticket, so she'll be watching the matches to see who should be who could be the person who could lead her to the top of the wrestling world. So her Spoiled Celebrity gimmick got a great. So if we look at the gimmick change, okay, yeah, nothing specifically, but good gimmicks are better than bad gimmicks, and this got a 32, which is pretty solid. Again, like this is a 0 popularity fed. So we got Black Eagle, or not Black Eagle, he just looks like Black Eagle. Black Flash, defeating Lancelot in 1441 by pinfall with the Senton Bomb. This got a 36. Black Flash is probably like our best worker. So this match got the crowd buzzing, and Black Flash got a mysterious gimmick, got adequate. Lancelot got a scowling heel gimmick, got an interesting gimmick, great. So yeah, so Black Flash will sell more merchandise than usual, and so he's not good on the mic. Good thing I'm not planning on him talking a lot. But again, this got a 36. Then we have Blaze Maximum, who's basically like your Bugsy McGraw wacko heel coming out and just cutting your promo on, all you idiots in the crowd. I'm a real man. I'm going to whoop the butts of the, these two idiots that are coming out to fight me, because, I always take it to the max, or I always blaze it to the max. This is a random show. The promos aren't going to be, the catchphrases are not going to be great. Anyway, this got a 43. He enjoyed going off script. His high energy maniac gimmick got a very good. And okay, so it gives a small penalty to psychology during matches. Okay. Then we go on to this, which is our main event. The Kipper defeated Blaze Maximum and Dazzler in 152 when the Kipper pinned Dazzler with a lariat following botched interference from Mortal Pile. So how I imagine the finish going here is basically, Mortal Pile, who said he was upset about not being the main event, comes out, sort of yells at the Kipper because he's the babyface, and then they fight, but Dazzler comes over, sort of sneak attack from behind as the Kipper is, is distracted. But he gets out of the way. Dazzler runs in the pile. Kipper's able to hit his lariat and get the pinfall win. So this got a 32. Dazzler deployed his Camp Heel gimmick, got very good. Kipper defeated his last outlaw gimmick, got a rating of great. Dazzler got a 40. Kipper got a 35. Blaze Maximum got a 38. Okay, so his losses damaged popularity more than usual. That's unfortunate. And will be popularity will be penalized for taking part in comedy bouts, and wins and losses have a greater impact on popularity changes than normal. Okay? And in our sort of like ending to get people to show up next week, we start off with basically Dazzler, Blaze, and Mortal all kind of arguing, then realizing they have him outnumbered, they begin to like attack the Kipper. And then basically after a couple minutes, Black Flash comes out to make the save. And this got a 33. And if you notice, all throughout the show, Keith Cole could have done better as a road agent, which means he's not that great a road agent, but he's also fairly cheap, so we'll go from there. And let's look at things. Okay. So this got a 34, which is really good. Like, again, this is a 0-0-0 show. So we're starting from the bottom. So there we go. So let's just see how we get how things react, but how, what news pops up. And then we'll probably close things out after that. Well, not close things out, but we'll, pause it from there and move on to the next show. Okay. Where is... Okay. Very positive. Okay. No email. Nothing else really going on. Let's just see. I highly doubt anything too weird is happening with momentum, but if we just look at perception. So we've got 5 major stars. Again, this is all based on size, so that all makes sense. And then momentum, again, basically all the people who were involved in good matches or won, and all the people who lost sort of cooled, which makes sense. And then some people who either didn't mention or, were just referees or not in the ring, were neutral. But, that's all for now. So, there'll be slight pause in the video as we go on either the next show or if something else pops up. So hopefully see you in a moment. Okay, now time for show number 2. Already did a couple changes to things, basically, because I looked at my finances and I already lost $2,000 off the first show, which, not great. So we've lowered the show length itself down to 60 minutes, and we've also basically moved Marv off announcing unless absolutely necessary. So unless there's an actual segment that needs an interviewer as opposed to just, wrestlers coming out and being wrestlers in front of this, crowd at a random flea market or random, not backyard, but random parking lot somewhere in Port Australia. Another thing I did was I did generic venue, which I also think might save me some money. Again, I'll check the finances after this and see if there's any big differences. But regardless, let's go. Again, 60 minutes. So this is going to be a shorter show than the last one. So it should show, save some on worker costs and everything else. But I do have a big 6-man basically involving all my top guys plus one other guy, so that'll probably not going to save a whole lot. But, this is still just, setting up the characters and making everything obvious. But let's get rolling. Let me just double check one other thing. We got 22, 31, 30. So I actually think we want, whatever. That'll work. So we basically start out with a main event setup where we first have all the heels coming out, making fun of the 27 people here, cutting promo on, the loser cowboys, the masked idiot, everything else, insert your, cheap heat gimmick here. And then, basically, first Black Flash comes out, then the Kipper comes out, and the heels are like, oh, you're still have to face out 3 and 2. Then the Kipper basically makes a motion, and Lone Rider, who's another cowboy gimmick, comes out, if you don't remember, and now we have a 6-man setup for this week. Let's see here. Black Flash was terrible. Kipper was terrible with no script, but, those things happen. We still got a 33. In a match, okay, so... yeah, this is something I expected to be really bad because it's 2 rookies. About that had terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat. Jonathan Wesker defeated Reggie Hammer in 638 by pin with a fall-away slam. I also booked Wesker to dominate, which in a 6-minute match was probably way too long. But Hammer got a 15, Wesker got 11. And yeah, okay, nothing specific for Reggie Hammer. But yeah, this is the downside of booking people who are bad in matches. Then we had Sarah D come out, basically, writing down notes, and then Wesker basically posed for her. So there you go. This got a 22 because it basically rated Wesker on entertainment, which probably wasn't the best idea, but figure it was realistic to do so. Then we had our next match, which was Armando Guerrero defeating Lancelot by 7:04 with a spinning elbow strike. Um, so, yeah, this got a 33 because both of these guys are really solid workers. And nothing special for Armando's Mexican Patriot gimmick, but this got a 33. So that's pretty solid. And then Armando celebrating, slapping hands with the fans, got a 27. Then in our quote-unquote big main event, we got Dazzler, Blaze Maximum, and Mortable Pile defeated Black Flash, Lone Rider, and the Kipper in 1923. One Pile pinned Lone Rider after using a foreign object, so, pure six brawl to end things. Pile slips in like a roll of quarters, or I guess there'd be a roll of dollar coins because it's Australia, or brass knucks or something. Hits Lone Rider and gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. Kipper got a 37, Lone Rider got a 32, Black Flash got a 49, Power got a 33, Maximum got a 37, and Dazzler got a 38. So we go on to the next segment, which is basically a tag challenge where the two cowboys, make a challenge, and Pile and Dazzler answer. So that's a tag match set up for the next show. So finish the show. This got a 34. Which again, still a very solid show. But let's just see the finances to see if we still lost an epic amount of money, or if that actually stopped some of the bleeding. I actually think we might just have to go with what's the word I'm looking for here? We'd go with maybe bi-weekly shows. Okay, so finances, so we still lost. Let's see here, show cost, venue hire. Okay, so venue hire is costing the same, unfortunately. Production, right, is right, because it's per show plus the running costs. Okay, so I actually think, let me see here, financial estimates, 170. Right, okay, so I think what we'll do from here is this will be our last show in January, and then we'll basically move on to February and then book those shows as bi-weekly and then go from there. Basically because booking weekly here is not, I'm not going to say not great, but it is losing us a whole bunch of money, which I'm not surprised. Because again, we're a zero, well, now we're a 0-1 fed. But, honestly, we'll have to, what's the word I'm looking for here? We'll have to basically rethink this. We might, so bi-weekly would still be where we're losing a ton of money, but we're going to be losing a ton of money regardless because we actually, well, again, if we look at our contracts, so the two people are costing us a bunch of money is, okay, so it's Merv, it's Blaze, and it's Black Flash. Okay, because we can probably put together a show. Okay, so it'll be 40, 100, 130, 210, 250, 280, 310, 340, 370, 400, 430, 460, 490, 550. Okay, so looking at things, so 550. Okay, so we can probably lose less money if we actually if we only book basically Black. If we book our two, I don't say two big stars, but our most basically our most financially unviable guys, outside of Merv, which I might just let Merv go because there's no use when I'm on my character, is somebody who can actually just be booked to do what we need to. So yeah, okay. So I'll have to rethink things here. I think, well, this is probably going, actually, this is the end of the January video, which is a little shorter than I thought because now we're officially going bi-weekly. But, this is sort of, I don't want to say, this is sort of the growing pains, especially with a new game and a whole new area and forgetting that I have actually zero money. But what can you do? But so that's all for now. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you want more fun TEW 2020 content. And I'll talk to you later. So, adios.